the hybrid cloud and really why we're all here today. We'll get into a little bit of the underlying architecture on how New Cloud Networks delivers public, private, and hybrid clouds, and then some differentiators. Why New Cloud Networks? So New Cloud Networks has been in business for 26 years. You know, okay, there we go. 26 years in business, and really we started out and matured as an organization, you know, through the generations of technology. So today we are a VMware service provider. All of our data centers have a VMware hypervisor. We're one of the lucky companies to become a Veeam Cloud Connect launch partner. There were only 5 of us. So New Cloud Networks is a Veeam Launch Connect partner, and we can get in a little bit more of that in the presentation. New Cloud Networks is also a Microsoft service provider. So customers can utilize their own licenses in our data center, or we can also provide them in a monthly OpEx fashion as well. Today we have over 3,000 customers, and that's against all product lines. New Cloud is SOC certified, HIPAA compliant. We recently achieved PCI compliancy. And really what our bottom line is that we're focused on bringing the exact same service regardless of the customer size. And working with as many customers as that we have, you know, we have references from every vertical imaginable. So let's talk a little bit about the cloud deployment models that we work with today. And everyone, I'm sure, is familiar with these. So we've got the private cloud. The private cloud really is what I'm seeing most of when I'm engaging new customers across the country. They're folks that already have a VMware install built today. Now, a lot of these folks are starting to research the public cloud. That's where the Amazons, the Rackspaces, those start to come in. But what they're missing out, and the connection between the two, is a consistent hypervisor. And that's really where we shine, being a VMware service provider. In the middle, you have the hybrid cloud. And I think the hybrid cloud, I think this is a good definition. Composition of public and private clouds enabling data and application portability. So when we're working with customers that are looking for a private, hybrid, or a public arrangement, really what we're talking about is applications, right? Without applications, there really is no need for infrastructure. So we're vetting out existing applications, making sure they're portable for the cloud. We're vetting out new applications and making sure that we provide the right delivery mechanism to deliver those to end users. When we are tying the public and private clouds together to create that hybrid cloud, seamless networking, common management, and replication are key topics. Existing apps and new apps are really the foundation of the hybrid cloud. And the compatibility with VMware really makes this simple. We're running ESX 5.5 currently, soon to be 6.0, with vCloud Director bolted on top of that. So vCloud really gives us the single portal to draw ESX from customer site to ESX in our facilities. It also allows for seamless migration of apps using a free tool from VMware called vCloud Connector. Literally, in vCloud Director, you'll see the customer side ESX install through the vCloud Director portal. So literally both silos can be managed through a single pane of glass. It also allows us to distribute and synchronize templates between the two platforms. VMware today can virtualize over 90 OSs. So we've included a link on the guide when we send the presentation out. Feel free to peruse those. The networking component is really key here. When we get into dissimilar hypervisors, this becomes exponentially more complicated. When we have VMware on both sides, on the data center and on the customer premise, VMware makes a lot of fantastic tools that makes this very, very seamless and easy. Whether we're building IPsec tunnels or we're introducing third-party firewalls from Fortinet or WatchGuard or Cisco 1000V, all of it is seamless through the portal. We also have the ability as a company to terminate MPLS, Ethernet private line, etc. Literally can drop a node on your existing MPLS network in our facility, allowing us to stretch layer 2 networks directly into vCloud Director. So basically, the data center is looking like an extension of the local area network that you have today. As we all know, management is key, and when we start introducing other silos, management and complexity really goes through the roof. So with vCloud Director, provisioning a VM on your site or in the data center through a common tool, it makes it very simple. So with vCloud Connector and vSphere plugin tools, it really can be set up in 30 minutes or less. And all of the monitoring that we require is built in. So whether you're using tools from VMware or Enable from New Cloud Networks, or even the tools and analytics that come from the Veeam consoles, all of that is seamless end to end. Now vCloud Director, since we have the ability to store templates, makes it very simple to standardize on configurations. So you can have a consistent configuration across your entire infrastructure. Very simple through vCloud Director. Next up is replication, and this is key. If we have a single silo, what we're really trying to accomplish is extending that VMware install to another geographic location and making it usable. Making it usable through third-party tools that New Cloud Networks deploys is a no-brainer, right? Our partnership with Veeam allows us to migrate and replicate VMs off-site to another New Cloud Networks data center. It allows very minimal downtime when compared to the traditional methods of migrating and replicating VMs. And even through vCloud Director, imagine just clicking on a VM and dragging that across the layer 2 connection to a New Cloud Networks data center. And just a point that I wanted to make is that cStor and New Cloud Networks have migrated hundreds of mission critical applications and servers. So this is something that we don't have to outsource to another company. Next up is really the underlying architecture, and we've standardized on FlexPod, and we've noticed tremendous advantages over our competition utilizing this platform. NetApp, by far, in our minds, far exceeds what we're trying to accomplish from a private cloud or even a multi-tenancy perspective. Marry that with Cisco Nexus switches and the UCS Blade chassis, and it really is a bulletproof implementation. And it's easy to get support on, whether you're installing one at your premise or utilizing one in the cloud. It's very, very nice to have seamless end-to-end support and flexibility here. So when we talk hybrid clouds, and we're tying in an infrastructure from a customer premise, we have options. We have the option of deploying to a multi-tenant cloud on our end, or New Cloud Networks end, or having New Cloud Networks custom build a private cloud. So in the shared environment, multi-tenancy is a key, right? Security is a key. The ability for other organizations to not impact another customer. All of those are very important when choosing and determining if we're going to go with the multi-tenant cloud or the private cloud. And VMware makes it very simple. As we can see, we've got public, hybrid, and private. And it really comes down to the discovery. It comes down to the needs of the organization. A lot of times during the discovery phase, we think we're going down the public cloud and we end up in a private cloud. So, allowing a proper discovery call really will vet out which method we choose between public and hybrid or private. In our minds, Cisco UCS, NetApp by far enable this multi-tenancy, and all of the tools that they have built in by default give us the foundation to build on in our flavors of multi-tenancy, the differentiators that make us special. We wanted to touch a little bit about where we're located today and also our growth plans. It's very important to keep latency down to a minimal. And when we sell to customers all across the country, we're constantly trying to improve performance. We're constantly trying to put the data center as close to customer prem as possible. And that just allows more and more applications that can be ported over. Some applications are very sensitive, some are a lot more forgiving. So as you can see today, I'm in Denver, Colorado here. We have a facility that's been brought on in the cStor backyard, I would say within the last 6 months in Scottsdale. That currently is in the Scottsdale IO. And a new announcement from New Cloud Networks is 1 Wilshire in Los Angeles, as well as 60 Hudson in New York City. And you'll notice these are all on a 10 gig MPLS dedicated network. Now, future plans, you'll see Chicago in Q2 of 2015, or excuse me, San Francisco Q2 2015, Chicago Q3, and Dallas in Q4. And again, these will all be on Cisco NetApp implementations. They'll all be on bulletproof FlexPod environments. So why New Cloud Networks? I get asked this a lot. I think all of us do. We've been in business for 26 years. There's a lot of digestion in the IT market. A lot of companies, they come out and they make a splash. In 2 or 3 years, they're not around anymore. So I think that really bodes well in terms of stability. We've been in business for a very long time. We've weathered the peaks and the valleys, and the customer base that we have today gives us really the ability to speak to anyone. The next most important piece on why New Cloud Networks, in my opinion, is that a lot of our competition will create silos of infrastructure and pray that a customer meets those boundaries. We tend to stay away from that. We customize each and every design to meet and exceed the needs of the business. So it's not so much menu driven, it's customized to the exact spec. None of these projects would go without a hitch, without very intense and dedicated project management. And at any given time, we could be installing anywhere from 15 to 30 customers into either a public, private, or a hybrid scenario. So the project management piece is key. When we have the potential of impacting business at the customer site, every change that has that potential needs to go through change management review boards. They need to be documented. They need to be communicated to the end user community. All of that is handled through a project management team that we have here at New Cloud. The next big piece, in my opinion, is geographic redundancy. Utilizing FlexPod technology, and more specifically NetApp, we're able to replicate data between all of our facilities using SnapMirror. There are a lot of other tools that are involved, but that really gives us geographic resiliency. In the event that anything were to happen to a local facility, easily we can pull up a customer's infrastructure at an opposing location. And I think that spells volumes about how we're constructed and how we've really banked on the best of breed components on our end. I apologize for the crunch down here. I'm not sure what happened. But if I can read that, unlimited bandwidth is next. A lot of the competitors that our salespeople and I compete against, they're a little deceiving. You know, our competitors a lot of times will give a proposal that won't include a lot of ancillary items that easily could inflate the bill or the monthly invoice to 50 to 75% over advertisement. So when you include unlimited bandwidth, it really is a game changer. Why penalize someone for actually utilizing the cloud? We tend to use it and think of bandwidth as the enabler. And of course, infrastructure you can trust. Infrastructure that is 100% supported and included in the cStor portfolio and adopted by new cloud networks.
Chris, thanks so much. That was excellent information, great intro to new cloud. With that, we will conclude the presentation and open it up to questions and answers, either for cStor or for Chris at new cloud. Looks like I do have a couple of questions. Let me just get to those. Chris, one is, this looks like it's for you. I seem to compete against Amazon pretty frequently. Can you describe some competitive advantages that you feel your company has against Amazon?
The first competitive advantage that sticks out completely is being on a VMware hypervisor. Amazon uses a Zen hypervisor, which, if we all recall, even as far back as September of 2014, major portions of the entire infrastructure had to be rebooted for a code bug that impacted a lot of customers, included Reddit, Foursquare, and some others, also Netflix. So being on a VMware hypervisor is key. Not a lot of customers are running the Zen hypervisor at site unless it's through the virtual desktop platform. So if you look historically over enterprise hypervisors, you're going to see that most Fortune 100 or 500 companies are utilizing VMware. So that consistency from point A to point B on the hypervisor really is going to be the key to success. Some other pieces that stand out are obviously pieces that VMware banks on customers using a lot of, right? Bandwidth. So a key differentiator on some of the last slides, the final slides that we had, really around usage-based models. We're only ever going to charge for RAM, CPU, and disk. So really, the Amazon model, it's very complex to figure out an accurate bill. On our side, it's very easy to bank on an exact billing model every single month.
Thank you. One other question. How do you feel VMware stacks up against Zen from Amazon and OpenStack from Rackspace? I believe that's for Chris as well.
Yeah, we at NewCloud, we always pride ourselves on not really attacking the inefficiencies of other hypervisors. Doesn't make for good practice, right? But we all kind of shine when we get to compete against the other organizations and the folks that aren't using a VMware-based implementation. You know, on our side, you can bank on IOPS, you can bank on bandwidth, you can bank on not having to reboot your entire hypervisor to get bugs out of the code. It's a hardened, purpose-built facility on the best of breed components. You know, a lot of our competitors are using white label servers. They're using components that are okay for customers with smaller implementations and smaller bandwidth. But when you get to companies that are asking for a custom-built solution, we really need to have equipment that's best of breed that we can solidify a relationship on, and I really think that's a differentiator for new cloud networks.
Great, thank you. One last question that may be a good segue to this final question. Who does new cloud find themselves competing against in the marketplace most often?
Good question. I would say we compete against, obviously, Amazon and Rackspace a lot. We're noticing competition from Island occasionally, and we even come up against the Terramarks, more often than not. There's so many companies now that are coming out of the woodwork, and we've been selling vCloud Director as a multi-tenant tool longer than VMware. So VMware literally was positioning this product to service providers like us before the VCHS or AIR platform was released. And I just think with the experience that we have, the consistent hypervisor from customer prem to our facilities, it doesn't really matter who we compete against, in my opinion. And that may sound cocky, but it's true. Top 5, Rackspace, Amazon, Terramark, Island, and occasionally SoftLayer.
Great, thank you so much. With that, it looks like it wraps up the Q&A portion of today's presentation. But before we let everyone go, I did want to pass it back over to Neil Williams with cStor for a couple of closing thoughts